We have so many crazy headlines today as we have made it to Wednesday, Hump Day, July the 8th, 2020. Here's some of the crazier headlines right out of the news. Left-wing lawmakers announced federal legislation to defund the police and establish reparations for people who are either black or were harmed by cops. This, of course, the usual suspects, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley. They've sponsored something called the Breathe Act that would, again, defund police and pay reparations to black people. Ilhan Omar is at it, the Minnesota Democrat congresswoman, who was recently revealed, I believe, to have spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars giving her boyfriend's company money through her political organization. She is calling for a total dismantling of the U.S. economy and political system. Now, we're in an election year, and you could have two arguments about Ilhan Omar's comments. You could say, well, she's a nut and a radical, crazy, far-left extremist of the Democratic Party who somehow got elected to political office, and we shouldn't pay her any attention. Or you could say, what other Democrat in America will condemn her beliefs? When will Joe Biden condemn her? When will Pelosi or Schumer or Durbin or any of them say this is crazy? Here's what she said yesterday, and make no mistake, she's got a platform, she has a media that listens to her, and she continues and continues and continues. Here is, I give you, United States Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Democrat from the state of Minnesota.
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
The whole system of oppression. She went on to explain that's the United States economy and the entire political system. That's today's Democrat Party. If it's not today's Democrat Party, don't worry, you'll hear widespread condemnation of Representative Omar's words from Biden and all the rest of them. They'll say that's pretty insane. I mean, listen, I'll give them their props. They'll have to be diplomatic about it, but they would condemn it if this doesn't represent today's Democratic Party. Tucker Carlson is in the firestorm of controversy again because he dared call out Senator Tammy Duckworth as somebody who must hate America. Because Tammy Duckworth thinks there should be a national dialogue about tearing down statues commemorating George Washington. Tucker Carlson's argument, his logic is, if you think George Washington should be torn down, the father of our country, the founding father of America, then you must not like the country very much. You must hate America. Tammy Duckworth doesn't believe she can be criticized. She is a heroic figure. She lost her legs on the battlefield. She fought for our country, nearly died. Now she's a United States senator who I think has made it very clear is not allowed to be criticized. She was apparently invited on Tucker Carlson's show night before last. He went off on her, calling her silly and crazy and not loving America. She tweeted something out about Tucker Carlson not being able to walk in her legs because of her sacrifice, which suggests that because she lost her legs in battle, she's not fair game. She's a U.S. senator from Illinois. a state that's in a lot of trouble, and has a senator who has called President Trump a racist on a good day. A U.S. senator who has said reprehensible things about the commander-in-chief and Republicans and fellow Americans, but you're not supposed to criticize her because of her, and I will say it, enormous sacrifice. I just didn't know that was the way that went. If you've sacrificed and if you fight and nearly die for your country and then decide to become a politician and run for senator in what is often a politically corrupt state like Illinois, and you get elected, you're not allowed to criticize her anymore. Because after all, try to walk a mile in her legs, as she put it. That's a very interesting defense. Tucker Carlson invited her on the show last night. And apparently her office told Tucker Carlson of Fox News if he apologized for criticizing her, she'd consider coming on his show and debating him. So he's got to start out evidently saying he's wrong about his criticism of her before she'll let him interview her about his criticism. I mean, that's so dumb. It would cross your eyes. But this is what's passing for discourse right now. Joe Biden hasn't come out from the basement. I think it was Thomas Friedman of the New York Times writing an editorial trying to put forth ground rules that if Biden doesn't demand that Trump release his tax returns, they're back to that, his tax returns, then Biden shouldn't debate him, should stay in the basement. Literally says that. There's a liberal Democrat columnist in the New York Times saying Biden should stay in the basement unless he can get Trump to, there's two conditions that the New York Times puts forth. One, Trump has to release his tax returns, and two, there has to be live fact-checking going on during the debate. Well, those fact-checkers might get busy because they might start out by fact-checking Joe Biden saying, hi, I'm Joe Biden's wife, Joe Biden. Or it's Tuesday when it's Thursday. Or who ordered the chicken parmesan? Wow. I mean, literally, there's no reason for Biden to come out of the basement. They are terrified of the debates. The last thing they want is to see Joe Biden debate Donald Trump. They know it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and predict Biden's going to figure out a way to wiggle out of the debates. There is no reason at this point that Biden thinks he's going to have to debate Donald Trump. You wait and see.